Morning. Welcome to day 2 of our trip from the Atacama Desert in Chile to the Uyuni salt flats in Bolivia. Good morning. We're just getting ready to roll out for day 2. A few things that we had going on. These were the heaters that we had pumping all night last night. We were able to snag a second one from another room that was empty. And these were all the blankets that we put on the bed to stay warm because the heaters really didn't do that much. So I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blankets that we took from this bed. The other thing is that there was no toilet paper, no hot water at all, and no towels. Just helping load the car up or the truck up again. Everything gets packed up on top and then wrapped up for the day. So we're not making the same mistake we made yesterday. We're keeping our snacks and water off the top because you're not able to access it during the day. All right, right off the bat, about 12 minutes from Villamar is the first stop. It's called the World Cup. And here the tectonic plates created, I guess, the Andes Mountains, is what the guide explained. So there's all these different rock formations, and the most popular one is this one because it looks like the World Cup trophy. We started at 9:30 this morning, and there's already a bunch of other tours already here as well. Yesterday we just got crushed by the wind because it was so crazy, but today there's very little wind, and the temperature is great. It's probably like high teens. So we'll take this. We kind of got ready for another cold day, but if it stays like this, that'd be amazing. The next stop we just got to is called the Lost Italians, and the story is 50 years ago, Italians who biked from Uyuni got lost in the fog, had to set up shop in a campsite here for a couple days, and eventually they got found. So another kind of rock formations with like cool paths and roads kind of winding between them all, and like these kind of big islands. And then there's a few little spots where there's almost like holes through the rocks. A really stunning area. This place looks cool. We just drove by it quick. This is Anaconda Canyon. And there's no actual anacondas here, but it's because the canyon actually kind of grooves like an anaconda. So there's these cool, I don't know what you call them, like these rocks that are overlooking the canyon. So we'll go check them out. So this is the viewpoint that everybody's hanging out on right now. And it's just like an easy walk. There's actual trail down there, but you can get down through this way. And then it just oversees the canyon. And then there's a couple more over there, but this seems to be the main one. Easy little hike to just get up here. There's even a couple steps. Fortunately, the wind is just like ripping through here, but amazing view just around the corner here. This is a main stop because there's a ton of trucks here that all the tours obviously stop, but like incredible views all the way down. Oh, you can see down there how the canyon, like the riverbed, like kind of snakes through. People everywhere trying to get close to the edge, but amazing views of the valley. We just stopped for some lunch in this tiny little town, but it's obviously popular for all the tourists to stop because all the trucks are stopped here as well. So we're just waiting to find out for a guide which restaurant we're going to. So this is the entrance to the restaurant apparently, and we're told second floor, which this is the only stairwell here, and up we go, and hopefully there's a place to eat up here. Oh, and then here's the restaurant.
On our way to get some, I guess they call them artisanal beers. We were able to stop to check out all the different llamas these are llamas, not vacunas, that are grazing all along this. I don't know, it's like a ravine has been winding all the way through here. It's kind of a bit of a valley, and they're all over the place. There's tons of like all these like pebbles that the wind is really strong here, are obviously like all over here from like them just going to the bathroom all over the place. But and on the ride here, there was a bunch, like probably 20 across the road all at once. I wasn't able to get the camera out at the time, so I don't know the specific reason as to why they're all hanging out here. I'm assuming because it's the grass, there's water, and it's like a very spongy, like the density of the ground, but it's probably like just because it's all wet. But they're all over the place. Like for the last couple kilometers, we've seen probably hundreds of them.
We arrived at the Salt Hotel where we're staying for the night, and we're very excited because one, there's towels, there's soap, there's shampoo, there is toilet paper. We have a good propane heater, and the view outside is the salt flats off in the distance. So the thing about this hotel is that the walls are actually made of blocks of salt taken from the salt flats. So if you actually lick them, they're salty. Before we stopped at the Salt Hotel, we stopped at a town in the middle of absolutely nowhere. There were 4 bars, and the stop was so you could have artisanal beer at one of the bars. The music was blasting. There was a railway right down the middle of the town, and actually a train went by carrying these huge vats of copper, apparently. And all the tours stop there simply as a kind of a bathroom break and a chance for you to have a beer. To give you a view from the outside, there's the salt flats. It's pretty far off in the distance, but you can see the whiteness of them. And this hotel is literally in the middle of nowhere. And we're the only ones here. Like, they don't even give you a key to your room. It's just, you kind of come and go as you please, and it's only the other people that are on the tour with us. So it's a pretty low-key place. It's kind of funny. These are the blocks of salt that have created have created the walls in here in the hotel. They're very, very dense. This probably weighs like, I don't know, I'd say like 20 pounds. And this is straight from the salt flats, which we're going to see tomorrow. Good morning. Early morning pickup at the Salt Hotel to come to the actual salt flats. So it was about a 40-minute ride, and now we're at Cactus Island. So, and like, there's full facilities here, which I was surprised. I thought we would just be driving into the middle of the salt flats, but not the case at all. It's actually not windy and not that bad. And it's almost like it's been driving on a frozen lake the whole time. And then all of a sudden this random island appears. We're going on a 40-minute hike, I think, to the top to see the sunrise, I believe. You have to get a ticket to go on the trail and also to use the bathroom, and it's 30 Bolivianos each. Now we're gonna start the hike. Takes, I guess, to get the other side, and you'll be able to see the sunrise from there. So there's a trail that you can follow, like a pretty easy little hike with a bit of a few stairs here and there. It kind of goes all the way around this island. But this is the best side, I guess, to get the actual sunset. Like, look how many cactuses are here. I thought the island was going to be a super small little, tiny little spot with a couple cactuses, but like, there's hundreds here. And it feels like we're in the middle of a massive frozen lake. Like even the roads look like they have black ice where cars have driven over them, but it's just the salt worn down. Surprisingly, like I counted about 13 trucks here, but there's so much space that you can kind of be on your own and avoid people pretty easily. We've only come across about 3 other people. So we got here at a good time. So to put this into perspective, like this is a 360 pan of the island here. In some directions you can't see the end or anything aside from just the salt flats. It's a pretty easy hike up, but I'm feeling it. I have a splitting headache right now. And just like taking the steps up, I can really, like my breathing is labored here. The average temperature, apparently according to the sign down at the bottom, is 8 degrees. It's actually, now that the sun is up, it's warming up. It's still pretty chilly. I'm amazed what I'm seeing other people wearing. They have like dress boots on and dress pants and stuff like that. And like it's still pretty chilly. But with the sun coming up, it's getting a lot better. Apparently these cactuses grow 1 centimeter a year. So that's the growing rate for these guys. This is a pretty big one right at the top here, and this is like the best panoramic view you'll get up here. Come a couple more tours coming in. They missed the sunrise, but they may have caught it maybe somewhere out on the salt flats. There's almost like a highway system out there. After you finish your hike, you come back down to the truck and they have a breakfast all set up for you on the salt block picnic tables. We're having breakfast here, and a nice warm coffee is hitting the spot after the hike. So the guide kind of sets everything up while everyone's walking around, and it's just kind of like yogurt, cereal, some lunch meat, cheeses, yogurt, tea, coffee, but it's on these cool the salt blocks, which are the same as what the hotel is made out of. We're just waiting for the guide to kind of pack up the truck, but it's hard to not think we're on a frozen lake. There's actually like little holes, almost as if they were used for ice fishing, and you can actually walk around all of Cactus Island and get a different perspective of all the cactuses. So it is a pretty amazing spot here. These are the random holes, as if it looked like someone used an auger to create a fishing hole spot, but obviously not the case. But they're also all over the place, these perfectly round circles. We just left the Cactus Island and drove for about half an hour, and we're still in the middle of nowhere. And we were told by our guide that the salt flats are actually 5 to 6 meters thick of salt, and then there's a lake of underneath. And this all used to be a lake which evaporated, leaving all the salt. One of the common things here is seeing the dried salt with like these ridges, and that's from when the water dries. It leaves these little puddles that eventually evaporate. The water, you can actually see the mirror effect, is from December to February. So we're here in August, and we were told that there was water in a section, but because it's been so windy, it blew all the water to further away. So we're not going to get a chance to see it on this trip.
These salt flats are 12,000 square kilometers, and this is the spot where they do that competition to try to reach world record speeds in vehicles, and we're supposed to go to a monument a little bit later on that represents that actual race. A common thing here is getting a picture with the dinosaur, so it's like a funny perspective, and the guides takes a bunch of pics, making it look like the dinosaur's gonna get you. We just did this thing that you got to do as a group where you do like these different formations holding, and he drives around in the Jeep in a circle to try to do like a time lapse. So we'll get the videos from the others, and we'll try to add it into the video. Right before we leave the salt flats, there's kind of like an international flag spot that's also at the first salt building ever created. So this building is again also made out of those salt bricks, and I think there's kind of a restaurant inside. And then off in the distance is the Dakar monument for trying to get the fastest speeds in the world. So inside here is just another, almost like there was like a restaurant here. And then again, all the benches and the table made out of salt. There's a little bit yellow over in where the store was, so this is just the other side. They're not selling anything here. Oh, you might be able to get looks like they have tea and instant coffee, but it doesn't seem to be anyone serving anything. We're currently in the town of Chani, which we just left the salt flats. All these dogs are all over the place, and we're here to do a bit of shopping. I saw a couple ladies selling some, looked like desserts, so hopefully we can find her. A bunch of kind of setups. There's always the vacunas, or I guess they're llama things that are like the stuffed llamas, or always like the really colorful like ponchos and lots of blankets and things. I got like a potato and corn, and there's egg in here as well. This is like a fried potato pancake. The last stop on the tour is the train graveyard, and the fact that this is an attraction is kind of a weird one. And this is one of the top things to do here in Uyuni. The story behind this place is that back in the day, when they moved minerals on the train, it used to be a very lucrative business. At some point, the value of minerals dropped, therefore creating lower salaries for the workers, and then they didn't have anybody to work the trains, and then they ended up having to ditch them here in the graveyard. If I can give one recommendation for this tour, you want to start in Chile and end in Uyuni. You want the salt flats to be the highlight, which is at the end of the tour. So that's the end of the video. Thanks for watching. See you next week in La Paz.